What is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers. These are my Draftkings MMA picks for UFC 278. We have Kamaru Usman going against Leon Edwards 2.
I need all the wins, yeah. All that and all that is. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out. You better move, you might get knocked out. Knocked out.
And we're back for another DraftKings MMA picks video. This week breaking down a 13-fight slate, a pay-per-view card, and a very good card overall. Definitely cannot wait to break it down. Before we get started, though, if you guys can please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. We're going to try to keep growing the channel. Do appreciate all the likes. They do go a long way. And, of course, if you're not subscribed already, lots of content throughout the week. If you do want extra content, be sure to check out dfsbythenumbers.com. Got the stats, got the targets, projections, line percentages, ownership projections, the optimizer, tons of stuff going on, articles over on dfsbythenumbers.com. If you are not already, be sure to check that out. And yeah, can't wait to break down this card. We are closing out a 12-week stretch. It's been an absolute grind. Then we get a week off, and then we are right back at, I believe, UFC Paris early September. So yeah, I say we get right into it, and we will start, as always, with the fight doesn't go to decision lines, and we have a minus 1,000. Fight doesn't go to decision line. I don't recall ever seeing a minus 1,000 fight doesn't go to decision line. And I think it is absolutely warranted here. We have Tyson Pedro going against Harry Hunsucker. Harry Hunsucker has never seen a decision. He has never seen a third round. And Harry Hunsucker has never even seen a second round in his entire career. He's only been over one half of a round. That's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Just twice in his 11-fight professional career. Typically... 12 fights. 12 fights has only been over a half a round twice, which is nuts, right? But yeah, Harry Hunsucker is somebody that wants to get in and get out, whether he's winning or whether he's losing. I think Tyson Pedro, 9,500, he's the most expensive, but he has first-round upside. I think his floor is just about a first-round finish. I'd be shocked if this hit the second round. I think he has takedown upside. Harry Hunsucker got taken down by Jared Vanderaa and finished shortly after. I think if Pedro gets on top, the fight will be over shortly after. I think Pedro's a phenomenal play this week, but the ultimate dart throw is Harry Hunsucker. He's going to go out there. He's going to fight hard for 2 minutes, and then he'll probably gas out and get finished. But he will go out there and throw hard, and you never know. This is an MMA fight, but I do think Tyson Pedro gets the job done at 9,500. I'll have a ton of Tyson Pedro. He will be my highest-owned fighter on the entire slate. Next, we have Paulo Costa going against Luke Rockhold. Another guy, Luke Rockhold, he's not seen a decision in the last 10 UFC fights, which at this point, years and years ago, since Luke Rockhold's seen a decision. He's coming back off of a 3-year layoff. I think Paulo Costa knocks him out here, and I will be having a fair share of Paulo Costa at only 8,700, which I think is a very good price tag for him. Luke Rockhold, I will be sprinkling some. If Luke Rockhold does come back after a 3-year layoff, and he has maybe made improvements, which I'd be fairly shocked if he did. At this point, he's 37 years old, almost 38. But hey, maybe he comes back. He's made some adjustments. He looks really good. Maybe he does take down Paulo Costa, gets on top, and finds a finish. Maybe he does land a big shot on the feet. But I think the most likely scenario is Paulo Costa going out there and knocking out Luke Rockhold, and probably in the very first round. But again, another dart throw in Luke Rockhold. I think if he does win, it is probably some type of finish there. But I'm more sold on the Costa side myself. Next, we have Daniel Da Silva going against Victor Altamirano. This is a fight at 125 pounds, and typically you will not see a fight doesn't go to decision line at minus 250 for a 125-pound fight. But this is a Daniel Da Silva fight. Like Harry Hunsucker, Daniel Da Silva is a kill-or-be-killed fighter. Daniel Da Silva has never seen a third round in 14 professional fights. Never seen a third round. I think he's been to the second, a small amount of times when he's a guy that gets in and he gets out, whether he's winning or whether he's losing. Early on, Daniel Da Silva is going to be very dangerous on the feet with lots of power, looking for the knockout shot. And then on the mat, very aggressive with the submissions as well. We have seen Altamirano submit it before. So I think Daniel Da Silva early on is going to have his opportunities, and for that reason, I will have some Daniel Da Silva at 7,600. But Altamirano is a guy that he will more than likely take over as the fight goes on. If this fight hits the second round, it is very likely that Altamirano is the one getting the finish in that second or third round. So overall, a very, very good fight to target. 8,600 Altamirano, Daniel Da Silva 7,600. I think both fighters are definitely in play. And then Alexander Romanov, Marcin Tybura minus 225. Fight doesn't go to decision. Money's still coming in on the overs on the fight goes here, which is interesting. But Alexander Romanov is a finisher. He has like a 94% finish rate. double check. Yeah, 94% finish rate for Romanov, 78% finish rate for Tybura. Tybura has been finished in 4 of 7 losses as well. Another good fight I think you could target. Romanov is obviously going to go for takedowns, a lot of them. Marcin Tybura, he can go for takedowns in his own right. Marcin Tybura is a black belt himself, so I do think this is a good fight to target here. I'm not... I think these prices and the line in general is completely wide here, but it's hard to deny the upside Alexander Romanov brings. Then as far as Tybura goes, as far as a pump play, he's a pretty good pump play, I'd say. He has very good takedown defense. He has okay striking. And again, if he gets on top of Romanov, it could be a serious problem. And what happens if this fight does get extended? I think Tybura could potentially take over. We did see Romanov slow down bad in his fight against Juan Espino. So overall, a good fight to target, heavyweight fight, a fight that I actually do think has a chance to go to decision, but there's also a fairly big chance this fight does finish one way or another. Core plays here, Tyson Pedro, not much to say, 9,500. I'm going to have a ton of Tyson Pedro. I think, like I said, his floor is a first-round finish. His ceiling is like a 60-second finish or just a dominating finish in that first round. I think he scores a ton here. It's hard to get away from him, and 9,500, it's a lot, but there's a ton of underdogs that stick out on this slate. I think you can easily go up and get him. Paulo Costa, 8,700. I think he finishes Luke Rockhold. Rockhold's been finished 5 times. The chin's not there. He's taken a 3-year layoff. He's now 37, about to be 38. Paulo Costa hits really hard. There's a lot of volume pressures. I think he touches the chin of Luke Rockhold, knocks him out in the first or second round, and he's only 8,700. I believe Paulo Costa is like minus 400 or so on the money line now. These salaries did come out earlier in the week, and I want to say Costa was like minus 260, something like that on Sunday when the salaries were released, or Saturday, whatever, and now he's like minus 400. So we are getting a lot of value on this Paulo Costa line here at 8,700. Kamaru Usman, 9,100. I know a lot of people are on the Leon Edwards side, but it's hard to deny the upside of one Kamaru Usman. You have takedown upside, control time upside, 5 rounds to work with. He's showing power these days, 7 knockdowns in his last 5 fights. I will be having a ton of Kamaru Usman. And then finally, Merab Dvalishvili, 8,200. This one's a weird one for me because from a betting perspective, I actually do like the Jose Aldo side. And I do think that, Aldo, he has very, very good takedown defense. I think it's like 90% takedown defense. But when we're talking DraftKings upside, it would be a big mistake to, although I do like Jose Aldo, to ignore the upside that Merab Dvalishvili brings at 8,200. If Merab Dvalishvili does win this fight, and it's a very close fight, this is a 50-50 fight in my opinion. If he wins this fight, he is going to score a ton of DraftKings points. When he loses fights, he scores a ton of DraftKings points. So it'd be foolish of me to ignore Merab Dvalishvili. At 8,200, he is probably one of the best plays on the slate, although I'm on the other side and picking Jose Aldo. But Rob is going to go for takedowns. He's probably going to get takedowns. He's going to get control time. And he's going to shoot 20, 25, 30 takedowns. I mean, the takedown attempts this guy has attempted, it's crazy. I think it's like 140, 139 takedown attempts in only 9 fights. Like, he can very well go out there and attempt that many takedowns, and that's a guy you want to put in your DraftKings lineup. So I will be having a good amount of Merab on DraftKings. Jose Aldo, I won't have a ton on DraftKings. More from a betting perspective, I do like Jose Aldo, but from a DraftKings perspective, all the upside is on the Merab side, if that makes any sense. All right, GPP plays here. Alexander Romanov. Yeah, you can see it there. He's in much better shape, and even this week, it looks like he's in much better shape. It looks like the dude might be cutting down a light heavyweight, which is crazy. But he's lost a lot of weight. He's looking good. So maybe that does help the cardio issues because, yeah, he did slow down a lot in the Juan Espino fight, but that could also be a negative thing, right? Like, if Tybura is going to have a good 20, 25, 30 pounds on him, what's that going to look like? So Romanov, he has upside, though. He's going to go for takedowns. He could potentially get takedowns. His ground and pound's vicious. He does those hammer fists on top. They call him the King Kong for a reason. He has a sneaky submission game. Romanov does have a lot of upside here at 9,000. So I will have some Romanov. Miranda Maverick, 9,300. I like Maverick here quite a bit. She's 9,300. She's expensive, but I think there's takedown upside. There's control time upside. There is sneaky. I don't want to say sneaky because I think most people are under the impression that Maverick does get a sub, and I am one of those people. Shanna Young's been submitted multiple times. Maverick submitted her in their first fight a couple years ago. I think Maverick does the same thing, takes down Shanna Young, and the grappling's just not comparable between the two. Maverick is the much better grappler, and I think she shows that and submits Shanna Young, and probably early as well. So Miranda Maverick, 9,300. I like her quite a bit. Victor Altamirano, 8,600. Talked about it a little bit. Daniel Da Silva, killer be killed fighter. if Altamirano is able to survive that first round, there's a good chance he does take over in that second and third and against a finish in one of those rounds. So Altamirano is definitely a fight I am targeting, and a fight I'm targeting in general. And then Sean Woodson, 8,800. Tons of volume upside. I think there's finish upside for Sean Woodson. Saldana slows down after 4 minutes. I think Woodson's going to put it on him and get him out of there in that second or third round. He is lower on the list for me in terms of ownership I'm going to have on him, and that's just because he's not going to go for takedowns. He's not going to go out there and get a first round finish like a Maverick might, like a Pedro might, and some other really good plays up there, but like a Costa might. But he will, I think, get a finish in that second or third round. I think he's going to get a lot of volume, and I don't mind Sean Woodson, and I don't think he's going to be the high owned as well. Live dogs here, Daniel Da Silva, 8,600. The definition of a live dog, and he has that first run upside. For that reason, I am definitely going to be targeting some Daniel Da Silva. Killer to be killed fighter. I'm looking for him to go in there and get an early finish, and if he does, he's going to score extremely well. So you got to have some Daniel Da Silva. Also be aware that if it hits the second round, he's probably done, but he will go out there and fight for your money for at least 5 minutes. Jay Perrin, 7,700. Yeah, I like Jay Perrin here from a DraftKings perspective because his game plan is probably going to be going for takedowns and going for a ton of them. And he has a great gas tank. He has great fight IQ. I've seen him go 5 rounds, and he will be wrestling a lot in this fight. If he wants to win this fight, he will be wrestling nonstop. So he has that takedown upside, that control time upside, and I don't think many people are going to play Jay Perrin this week. So I do like Jay Perrin, 7,700. Not a bad play there. And then Andalusa, 7,800. Maybe not the most upside here, but I do think Andalusa is super live to win this fight. He has phenomenal takedown defense. He's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage. He's going to have the cardio advantage. AJ Fletcher is going to be much smaller than Andalusa, and it says on paper they're the same height. I'm not completely sold about that, but on paper, Andalusa does have that 7-inch reach advantage that I like. Andalusa is a decent finisher, has not shown it lately, but I do think that AJ Fletcher could potentially slow down as the fight goes on, especially if Fletcher's wrestling and Andalusa is able to stuff those takedowns. So yeah, I do like Andalusa, 7,800. I think he's very live to win this fight. And then Leonardo Santos, 7,300, kind of like Daniel Da Silva. Santos is going to give you 5 good minutes, and that's about it, especially at this point of his career. He's 42 years old. He's slowed down in his last several fights. But, early on, he's going to be much bigger than Jared Gordon. Jared Gordon's been finished like 5 times in his career. Santos hits very, very hard. Santos, if he wins this fight, there's a good chance it's in the first round. And for that reason, I do have to have some Leonardo Santos. Pump plays here, Leon Edwards, 7,100. It's just a salary play for me. I'm not confident in Leon Edwards. I know a lot of people that are very confident in Edwards, but if Usman decides to go out here and says, hey, I'm not going to wrestle this entire fight, Edwards is going to be super live. I don't think it's going to happen. A lot of people are saying that's going to happen. But yeah, if Usman does not wrestle, it's going to be very competitive. How does Edwards win this fight? Maybe a knockout. We've seen Usman hurt before. At the very least, though, the reason I do like Edwards is I do think this fight does go 5 rounds, although Usman has been showing a ton of power lately. Edwards, I don't believe, has ever been knocked out. So I think at the very least, this does go 5 rounds. And I think at that point, Edwards does have a good floor. I'm just not sold on the winning ability. I'm not really sold on the upside. I do think he's going to be fairly high owned. So this is more so for a cash game play for me, a salary savings play in terms of Leon Edwards. But, he's a pump play. Marcin Tybura, 7,200, heavyweight fight. Romanov has slowed down before. Tybura has a lot of good tools. Good takedown defense, BJJ black belt, solid striking, solid cardio. It would not shock me if Marcin Tybura pulled off the upset Saturday. So I'll have some Tybura as well. And then fades, Lucy Pudilova, 8,300. Pretty simple. She has the worst finish rate on the entire slate as far as I'm concerned. No takedown upside. No thank you. All right. That is about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, check out dfsbythenumbers.com. All the content is just about out. Finishing up the article and trying to get that out Thursday night. And best of luck. Enjoy the week off. Should be a good one. And let's make some money, guys. Talk to you soon. See ya.